Hello, footies, and welcome to a short form content update. Foot in Review Shorts. 3 times a week, we talk you through the latest released content. We share our thoughts and opinions about it so you don't have to miss a thing. And of course, the other 2 work weekdays will be recording the big shows. So there's daily content from Tuesday morning to Saturday morning at 8 a.m. UK. My name is John. Today is Thursday, September 26th, and I'll be looking at, well, actually, I'll just be looking at the marquee matchups. But I did realize yesterday I forgot an SBC, which I also mentioned today. Also, talk about me forgetting or getting something wrong on this show. If you catch me doing something wrong, go to footinreview.com/wrong and leave us a message so I know what I did get wrong. And I'll correct that in the next show, and you get a shout out on the show as well. So, without further ado, let's start with the marquee matchup, shall we? Marquee matchups. Well, every Thursday for new listeners, new FIFA players, every Thursday we'll get the marquee matchup, which are the 4 most, well, exciting matches that are about to pop up in real life football. And of course, there's just 4 to pick up, so it's always a little bit of a struggle there. But at least it's 4 exciting matches, which you have to do an SBC for. And usually I would just always recommend just do those marquee matchups because the rewards are always tradable. So let's have a look at the challenge list this week, shall we? The first challenge list, the first on the list is PSG, Paris Saint-Germain versus Stade Rennais. And actually, it's not really hard to do. It requires 1 league McDonald's player. It requires a maximum of 5 leagues in the squad, minimum 3 silver players. That means you can't all have gold players, so remind of that as well. Make sure you have at least 3 silver players in your team and a total chemistry of 14. Basically, if you put a couple of League 1 players in, or League 1 McDonald's, but I'm just going to call it League 1, you should be fine and just fill up the rest with everything. You can even use some old cheap silver players. 14 chemistry, really easy to do. So that one gives us an Electrum players pack. Hey, you never know what you're going to get, and I think that's definitely one that you should just do. But like I said, that goes for all the SBCs in a marquee matchup, usually. But especially at the start of the game, I need to emphasize this. There are more than 100 rare gold players, which are definitely worth packing. So opening any pack currently, with which gives out tradable players, is almost always worth it until they go very excessive. But we'll talk about very excessive for an SBC that I don't think it's worth after this one. The next in the group is the FC Bayern Munich versus Bayer Leverkusen. That is going to be an awesome match to watch. I'm not saying I'm rooting for Leverkusen, but I've seen them play last week. Pretty amazing team. Going to be one heck of a fight there. The SBC requires a German player, minimum 1. It requires minimum 3 players from the same nation. So easier if you just have 3 German players in your team. Maximum of 4 clubs in the squad. So that's always a little bit tricky, especially at the start of the game where you don't have a full club. So a little bit harder, that one. Minimum 3 rare players, that should be easy enough. Minimum silver players, so you don't even need to have gold players in this. And total chemistry of minimum 18. But it gives out a mixed players pack. So this one is a little bit harder, but honestly should be very much doable. And the mixed player pack can definitely be worth it. The third of them is, of course, Atletico versus Real Madrid, which is going to be also one heck of a match this weekend. You need to have at least 1 player from Atletico or Real Madrid. Should be easy enough. Of course, usually this means one of those teams' players, the player will rise in value. But I think if you've opened the pack this week, you should have at least 1 player of it. You need at least 2 La Liga players, should be easy enough. Maximum 5 nationalities. If you're looking into La Liga, Spain is usually easy to do, although you couldn't need them for some of the objectives now. Minimum 3 players need to be gold. The exact quality needs to be minimum silver. But even if you pick all silver, you remember you need 3 golds and a total chemistry of 22. So it's, again, a little bit harder. I like the steep incline on the difficulty. But again, it gives a small rare mixed player pack. Not the best packs, but hey, it's definitely worth the try. So I think if we look at the value currently, I think the whole SBC cost about 15,000 coins. Just an estimate, what should be around it when I look at it. Then the last one, Manchester United versus Tottenham Hotspur. And I wish I recorded this podcast like 5 minutes earlier, because when this came out at 6 p.m. UK time, it says that Manchester United versus Tottenham Hotspur SBC requires minimum 2 players from Manchester United or from Liverpool. It didn't take them long to fix it, though, about an hour. It now says like nicely Manchester United versus Spurs, minimum 2 players, which of course is what they intended to be. But it was quite funny to see, and I'm so glad I captured a screenshot, which I will try to incorporate in the thumbnail, just to highlight that some of these things still go wrong at the start. You need to have maximum of 3 players from the same club, minimum 4 rare players, and a team rating of 75 with a total chemistry of 26. But it does give a prime Electrum players pack, and I think if you just take take your cheapest gold Premier League players, you should actually be fine. Just be a little bit mindful when you toss in Premier League players at this stage of the game. There could be some hidden treasures in there. There's a couple of players that are like 80 rated, 79 rated, and even Adore Traore, for example, Adama Traore is low rated, but they are quite good on value. So if you're in doubt, just have a quick peek, I'd say. But usually, if you do those 4 SBCs, you'll be fine. If you do them all 4, you get a rare mixed player pack. Chance of getting something is not terrific, like I said, but there are lots of high value players currently in pack during the start of the game, and that are normal rare players. So you never know. I'd always go for it. Yesterday, I said I forgot an SBC yesterday, and that is the lone base hero player pick. If you do a toss in a team with a minimum rating of AT2, you get 1 of 3 base lone icons. This SBC, I think, it's just my estimate, costs about 7,000 coins, maybe 6,500 coins. This week we said if you do the 77 plus upgrades, I don't think those are really worth it at this stage of the game. Getting a lone icon player or lone hero player in this situation, any loans which are not timed, but you like 10 games, I don't see the value in that at all. You don't want to practice with that player in your team. Maybe you want to use him for one of those exciting qualification matches, but then again, after that you lost it, and once you lost it or you get a DC, it's count towards a negative on his contracts as well. I just don't. I think the new loans, the timed loans, are pretty cool, honestly. But doing SBCs, and especially SBCs 6,000-7,000 coins in the first week of FC25, I think it's total rubbish, and I would stay away from this SBC. Conclusion: do the SBC marquee matchups. I would always do that. You can also wait till after the weekend. It's here for 7 days, of course. Next Thursday, the new one will come. And I will not do or talk anymore about that SBC for the lone base hero pick. I think that's just, I don't see any value at that at all, especially at this stage of the game. Oh, and as you now realize, sometimes these food and review shorts are actually, well, pretty short. But that's okay. Sometimes the content just isn't big enough to make it a bigger show. And about 10 minutes is also information you could appreciate and you could use. Let me know if you have any feedback for the show, of course. You can always drop us a message on all our socials at Food and Review on all socials, except for TikTok, where we now are back as well. You can check us out at Food in Review Podcast on TikTok. That's been going pretty awesome so far. And of course, if you want to support us, if you appreciate this content and want to help us continuing this daily content, go to patreon.com/Food and Review. Tomorrow, I will be back. So Friday night, I will be back with Chris, and I will be back with Invie for a big content show. The content will all about Road to the Knockout. So that's the new promo I can already spoil, but it's not really a spoil because if you start the game, you already see it. My usually least favorite promo. I think the new Championship League format might make that opinion even worse. But let's talk about that tomorrow. So this show will be live Friday morning, 8 a.m. UK. And the new show, the big show, will be live Saturday morning, 8 a.m. UK. Unless you're a Patreon, then you get this right away. That leaves me with one thing left to do, and that's to wish you well and see you tomorrow and drop it.
Drop it.
U
T.
U
T.
U
T.
U T
T.
T. In the U.